Hello, everybody. My name is Kate Petty, and I am here to discuss Google certification programs and what different schools and districts are doing around the nation. As EdTechTeam's Director of Certification Programs, I get the opportunity, and it's a really fun opportunity to get to talk to districts and schools all around the nation and even Canada to talk about what they're doing and how they're doing it, and of course how EdTechTeam can help as well. But this is more of a generic, just more of an informational type of hangout on air where we can talk about, what people are doing in general. So I'm going to go ahead and screen share just a bit and go into a little presentation I created for everybody to take a look at. And of course, since this is a recorded broadcast, then you can always rewind and pause as we go. So again, my name is Kate Petty. I'm the Director of Certification Programs, and I am a former high school English teacher and district technology coordinator for Saddleback Valley Unified School District down here in Southern California. You can always email me at kate@edtechteam.com, and my Twitter handle is @techclassroom. So I thought I'd start off today by just talking a little bit about Google certifications, what Google offers. They offer 4 different certifications. The first one is level 1. The second one is Google Certified Educator level 2. They also offer a Google Certified Trainer program and a Google Certified Innovator program. So as we go through these, I'll kind of explain who they're more targeted towards and what schools and districts are doing with those. So we'll talk about the trainer one at first. I know that's not in the order that I just had it, but the trainer one is the one where if you're familiar with certification and Google, you're familiar with the trainer program. In order to be a Google certified trainer, you have to take 5 exams. Those exams are app-based, so you've got your Gmail and your calendar and your Drive and a couple other tests, and then you get to choose a test. Some of the test questions are admittedly out of date, and I believe Google is working on updating that program as we speak. But once you pass your 5 tests, you can then apply to be a Google trainer. So if you only take the 5 tests, then you are what's called a Google qualified individual. But if you go ahead and apply to be a trainer and go through the application process and be approved, you can become a Google certified trainer. Google certified trainers and the tests are very technical based. So they're technical things like, how many people can be in a Google Doc at the same time. It's not necessarily classroom centric as much as it is very technical centric. And what I'm finding with schools and districts is that school administrators, principals are really appreciative and are striving to try to get one teacher on their staff to be a certified trainer for the staff. That way they have someone who is knowledgeable and can troubleshoot all of the technical aspects of Google when they come up during their staff days and during the school year. Having just a lot of teachers become trainers isn't really ideal, just because they just aren't applicable and the tests really aren't applicable to the classroom in general. What is applicable to the classroom in general, though, are the level 1, level 2 tests. So Google Certified Educator level 1 and level 2, I'd like to talk to them or think about them in terms of SAMR, the SAMR scale. So level 1 would be an S and an A, and a level 2 would be more of an M and an R. And if you're not familiar with SAMR, SAMR, you can Google it real quick and find out more about it. But level 1 is really your S and your A. It's your foundational Google information and skills for teachers. And by the way, all of the curriculum was written by teachers, which is really nice. So the level 1, level 2, it's not the technical trainer stuff. It's how do you create a Google document, but doing it within the context of your class, and why would you create a Google document with your students? So it gives really good ideas for teachers to be able to learn those foundational Google skills and then also apply them on a foundational level in their classrooms. Level 1 covers things like Drive and Docs and Gmail and Calendar, all of the core essential apps. But what it's really, really nice about level 1 is that it also covers things like copyright, fair use, and digital citizenship, which includes the online bullying. So when a teacher goes through the level 1 program and they're new to integrating technology in the classroom, they truly get a packaged toolbox, if you will, of skills that they'll be able to then use later on in their classroom and have confidence as they're using them, that they're using them correctly. Gmail, as I mentioned in the slide here, is in the curriculum, and I know there are a lot of school districts who don't have Gmail turned on and are instead using Outlook or some other email service. If you ask your teachers to go and get level 1 certification, or if you want to go get level 1 certification and Gmail isn't turned on, it is going to prove difficult. But you can always use your personal. You can always go get a Google account if you don't have one, a personal account, and work through the curriculum in your personal Gmail account. Next is level 2. So level 2 certification is your M and your R. So once your teachers have their foundational skills, they can move on to how to use those skills really, really effectively in the classroom. This is fantastic, it's just chock full of fantastic blended learning skills, and also ideal ways to use the technology purposefully in their classroom. And I know that a lot of administrators right now are struggling with when they walk into a teacher classroom who's using technology and struggling with whether or not the teacher is using it purposefully or not. And this level really helps give teachers that all of the tools they need to be able to put together cohesive lesson plans for their students on a technical level, and have them be able to go through it quite seamlessly. If you are an administrator, these are very classroom-centric certifications. However, if you're looking for a way to empower your teachers, if you're looking for a way to show your teachers that you support them in every way you can, I would strongly suggest that you use, or you go through this program yourself. And I just realized I'm not even sharing my screen. George, you should have said something. All right. So I'll come back to here. All right. So then let me go to the next slide, and I'll go through those slides again. So here's the trainer slide, and here's the level 1 slide, and here's the level 2 slide. So, oops, I didn't want to share it. I'm so silly. I'm just going to go to present. So level 2 is your M and your R. And by the way, I think the last really important thing to note is that, and I'm still not for some reason sharing my screen.
I'm only seeing you.
Yeah, why isn't it sharing? Let's try that again. Screen share. Share. Huh. That's kind of crazy, but now, let's see.
There you go. Well,
I got it, right?
I got your desktop.
Got my desktop, and here it is. Yay! All right.
Right.
So the really important thing to note about level 2 is you don't have to have level 1 in order to take level 2. So if your teachers have been using Gmail for a really long time, and if they're using Google Classroom and they're really proficient in what they're doing, they can skim through L1 and go into level 2. Especially those teachers who have been using Google for a while and just don't know what the next step is. Level 2 will give them a lot of fantastic ideas to move themselves forward throughout the program. So both level 1 and level 2 are totally free curriculums, as is the trainer curriculum. Teachers can go through the training, the modules. They then can take the practice. And then they do need to pay, though, if they want to become actually certified. So for the level 1 test, that's a $10 exam fee. And for the level 2 test, that's a $25 exam fee. And for the trainer test, it varies just a little bit depending on if you buy bulk or not. The level 1 and the level 2 test tells you that it takes 180 minutes. And it is accurate. That does take most teachers between 2 and 3 hours to take each test. So you definitely, if you're going to take the tests, want to make sure you chunk a really good amount of time and don't schedule some sort of an appointment in the middle of it where you think you're going to be done and then you're hurrying to get through it. All right, last one, the last certification Google offers is Innovator. And that's kind of the one that all the teachers want to try to get to. Now, you do have to be a level 2 educator in order to become an innovator. But if you apply and you get accepted into the Innovator program, you get to go to a Google campus wherever it's going to be held. They just had one in Mountain View a couple weeks ago, and spend 2 or 3 days at the Google campus with 30 to 40 other innovators from around the world, creating, planning, and collaborating on an action plan that you'll take home with you and then carry out for about a year. And throughout that year, you get full-on support from the Innovator program, hangouts on air and mentors and things that will really help you to carry through on that action plan and have just an amazing experience. I can tell you that going to the Innovator program, it used to be called the Google Certified Teacher Program and just became the Innovator program, is a life changer for a lot of teachers. And if for a lot of teachers who feel like they are the lone wolves at their schools, they feel like sometimes they're the ones that are always trying new things and they're the only ones that are trying new things. The Innovator program definitely gives, if you get accepted and go into it, gives you a tribe. It is absolutely a tribe that you stay in contact with probably for the rest of your career as you work with the teachers in that program. All right, so what are sites doing? So we're going to talk about sites and then we're going to talk about districts. Like I said, most sites are asking that one teacher at each site be trained as a trainer and go through that training program. And some sites have dedicated teachers on special assignment or coaches that the teachers are taking the time off of teaching for the year and they're actually 100% as a coach or trainer at the site. Some sites are using stipends to help the teachers become trainers for the year. So they're still teaching, but they're also getting an extra stipend to go in and assist when needed. And some sites just have teachers who just want to help and aren't getting paid monetarily for it. However, I find very few principals who didn't reimburse the teachers for those. I think it's about $65. Reimburse the teachers to get that exam done so that they do have the trainers at each site. Their also goal is to get their teachers certified. It is, as I mentioned, going through and having your teachers go through supporting your teachers through level 1 and level 2 really helps principals know how to support their teachers. Finally, here's a place where you can say, you know what, I didn't really know how to support you before, but I do now, and I want to support you doing this. So they'd like to get their teachers certified in order to just empower them and then also to support them. It's great public relations as well, especially for the parents. So teachers at a site who are certified in Google, that the parents the public seems to like that quite a bit. So it helps in that arena as well. As far as districts go, I'm seeing a lot of districts setting aside their PD days for the technology days. So if a district, especially I'm seeing this next August, a lot of districts are setting aside those 2 or 3 days ahead of time that the teachers come back before the students. At least one of those days are being set aside for specifically for technology training, whether they're bringing in an outside consulting firm to do the training or whether they're doing it internally. Definitely many, if not most, districts are doing some sort of a full day training before school starts. I'm finding though that a lot of districts are also really interested in offering the training at the end of the school year too. And that's because they recognize that teachers can't help but plan over the summer. I think as teachers, we internally can't not work. And so over the summer, almost every teacher I know is tweaking their lessons. They're creating new lessons. They're spending almost the entire summer, at least a part of each day, working on some sort of a lesson for next year. And so by offering the trainings at the end of the school year as well, you're able to give those teachers some ideas to let swirl around in their brains a little bit and percolate over the summer as they're making their plans for the school year. The districts also really like the structure of the level 1, level 2 tests, curriculum and tests. So I talked about how the curriculum is an online course that the districts can, they're free online courses. Level 1, I believe, has about 12 units, and I think level 2 has, I think, 9 units. But within those units are 2 to 5 lessons. And they take about 15 to 20 hours to do and go through for a teacher as they're working through this free online curriculum. There's also the review questions that they can take at the end. And then the test is structured really, really interestingly in that there are multiple choice questions, but it's very heavily performance task based. So teachers actually have to go and do things within the account, and then a script will run through and make sure that those things have been done. And what I love about that particular format for tests is that that's exactly kind of what Google is modeling, and for modeling really what we're asking teachers and schools to do. And that is to not have so many multiple choice true false questions on exams and quizzes, but to really ask students to create or do something with the knowledge that they're receiving, and demonstrate that they know the knowledge rather than use it with facts. So districts are really liking the fact that curriculum can be done autonomously, but they also recognize that the curriculum can be done collaboratively. So a lot of districts are choosing to hold some sort of a study session, whether they're in cohorts where districts are bringing in groups of teachers and they're just working through the curriculum on their own, or whether they're bringing in professional development through consultants like EdTechTeam, where they can come in and they can hold the consultant can do all of the work for them. So we're going to move on. George, do you have any questions so far about the certifications I just talked about?
We talked about 5 different levels.
Mm-hmm.
And but you mentioned 2, right? Level 1, level 2. Level 1
and level 2.
Right. So the other 3, I guess you're going to talk about, or is there?
Well, no, there are 4 certifications, and only the 2 levels. So there's level 1, level 2, and then there's also, I'll go back to that slide. There's also level 1, level 2 trainer and innovator. And then level 1, level 2 cover what's on the SAMR scale. So level 1 covers SNA and level 2 covers MNR. But there's no level 3, 4, or 5, although I'd love to see one more certification in there, and that would be for administrators, so that administrators, have administrators be able to come in and learn the Google tools that will help them with their jobs more effectively, but also be able to support teachers.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Sure. All right. So we are then I'm going to talk just briefly about what EdTechTeam does too. You have an option with us, obviously, as well with the certifications. And we do boot camps for level 1, level 2, and trainer. And those boot camps are offered as 1-day boot camps or 2-day boot camps. And we come in, we bring in a presenter, really great presenters. They come in and spend the entire day with a group of 25 to 30. And just like our Google Summits, they get the just amazing treatment. So they come in and they get, you get your lanyard and your badge, and we give you a little swag and a catered lunch, and then a voucher to take the level 1 test if you're there for level 1, or the level 2 test if you're there for level 2. And they're free to host. So we treat them much like our summits. So we put up a registration site. So if you host for instance, if George were to host in Green Valley for his teachers at his school site, and we would have a link, then anybody could come in and take that level 1 exam from Sacramento. He's up in Northern California, so he could tap into Sacramento or Marysville or Reno or way up north even, if he wanted to tap into the Chico area. And the principals can either pay with credit card or purchase order and send their teachers down to these little boot camps. And what our boot camps are designed to do are to give that preparatory course for the curriculum. I mentioned it was a 15 to 20 hour curriculum. Our goal is by the end of the day, the teachers will have been exposed to everything that's in that curriculum, so that when they have to then go through it after our boot camp, they'll be able to go through it a little more effortlessly, so that they'll recognize everything they see there. Nothing will be new to them, and they'll be able to go through it a little more quickly than the 15 to 20 hours. We also, with our presenters, will give their groups their email for the next 3 weeks. They make sure that they're in email contact with the group. They challenge the group to go through the curriculum and take the exam within that 3 weeks. And they stay in contact in case there are any questions. So if there are technical questions like my voucher code won't work, or if there are content questions like how do I do that Hangout on air, or how do I screen share when you're on a Hangout on air, the presenters will be able to answer those questions for them. And if they can't answer them, then they escalate them to me, and I work with Google to make sure we can get those answered. So if you're interested in hosting a boot camp, you can always go to edtechteam.com/request to explore that idea. And that's about it. George, do you have any final questions?
No.
No?
I did want your email.
Did you get my email there?
Where is it?
It's at kate@edtechteam.com. It was on the title slide.
Hold on.
Kate@edtechteam.com.
Got it.
Yep. And so anyone else that's out there that's watching this either now or later, feel free to contact me and ask me if you have any questions. I apologize that my slideshow wasn't working there at the beginning.
Yeah.
But contact me if you have any questions, either about certifications. They don't have to be EdTechTeam related, obviously. So anything about Google certifications, what your district can do, and then of course, if you want to host one of our boot camps, then you can contact me about that as well.
So one other thing.
Yeah.
EdTechTeam, what organization is that? Is that like based out of LA or something?
We are actually, our headquarters is in Orange County, down here in Irvine. And we are the hosts of the Google Summits. So any of the summits that are featuring Google for Education, and ours are called GAFE Summits. You can get the information at gafesummits.com. And so there is actually an LA Summit happening this weekend in Pomona. Unfortunately, it's sold out. But there are GAFE Summits. In fact, I heard something about us having 16 summits all around the world in April. So if you go to GAFE Summit, gafesummit.com, you'll be able to find out where a summit is coming to you very, very soon.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, everybody. You guys have a wonderful day. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to give me an email or a ring and let me know. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Sure thing. Bye-bye.